Hello there, my friend, and welcome back to another episode of the Minecraft Let's Play series in 1.20. I am your host, Dr. Banana, PhD. And on last episode, I constructed these two buildings that you see behind me. If you didn't see that episode, please check it out. I worked very hard on these two builds. I spent a lot of time figuring out these designs and figuring out how to best execute and translate them here in the world. And as you can tell, they are diagonal, which is incredibly difficult to pull off, especially in Minecraft. It was quite a challenge trying to figure out how to do these buildings in a diagonal fashion, and they are not in the same diagonal fashion. As you can see, this one is directly diagonal at a 45-degree angle. This one is more of a like a 22 to 25 degrees, and I'm so happy with how they turned out. One final little look on the inside interior of the flower shop. I worked really hard trying to incorporate this pink wood and also the jungle wood and some of the brown mushroom. And going out this way, going down this little path to look at the greenhouse. Filled to the brim with all kinds of naturalistic detail that I can think of. And I think the things that really pull this place together are not only the things hanging from the ceiling, but also the particles from the spore blossom up there and from the blossoms coming off of this cherry blossom tree. Now you can probably tell that these leaves here are a little different. The texture itself is different from the vanilla texture of the cherry leaves. Now, we really do love the look of the vanilla leaves, the cherry leaves, in Minecraft. But I will say, I found this texture not too long ago, and I decided to play around with it, and I love it ever since I tried it. I do miss that one large central blossom, petal, flower, leaf, whatever it's called, in the original texture. But I feel like this one is a little bit more realistic in terms of how the leaves are laid out in Minecraft. And they have a little pop of green, which I actually have been missing. I feel like they would have just the tiniest touch of green in real life. Just makes it feel a little bit more cohesive and complete, without taking away from the look and feel of a cherry blossom tree. So these two buildings will, of course, be the home of all of the naturalistic type of leaves and blocks. I'll have all the leaves, all the saplings in here, along with all kinds, well, every kind of flower in there. Now, I had so much fun challenging myself and getting these builds all together and executed in this fashion on this world. But now, we must continue on with the episode. And in this episode, I want to complete a little project, a farm, that I said I would complete a few episodes ago, which is the Froglight farm. So why don't we get started? As you can tell, I've already been doing some progress here. But let me open up this box to get the compass to go where we need to go. What am I looking for in here? I'm looking for the frog farm. There we are. That is where we'll start and head out from. Now, let's take this out and warp on over to the frog farm. I also installed a little mod that warps in the surrounding chunks. It's a very small little detail, but I just love it. It's a great look and feel. I love all of these little mods and how they add just a little touch to the game, just makes it feel that much more special. Speaking of, look at the Wakes mod, or Wave/Wakes mod that I installed. That just gives a little bit more animation and life to when these creatures, or any kind of mob, goes inside of the water, and I just love it. Gives it much more life and dimension. And as you can see, there is a little wave, little splash right in front of me whenever I move. And you probably can't see, but there is a trail. Let's see here. Yep, a little trail in my wake. I love it. Now let's not get too distracted here. Right over here is where we'll go next. So, I'll get to the portal in a second, but over here is where all of these frogs are. I think this is the warm frog or the temperate frog. All I know is that they have to be this color. This is the color of the frog that will give us the color of the froglight that we want, which is the yellow froglight. Let's close this up and go over here. We're going to end up taking them through into this portal. let's go through this portal and see where the potential farm is going to go. Getting the frogs through into the Nether and over into this area is going to be challenging, but I am up for the challenge. Let's fly on through over here. In order for us to get the Froglight, the frogs must eat magma cubes. Now, the frogs can't eat any of the large magma cubes. That just doesn't make sense. But they can eat the little teeny tiny magma cubes. Can you see right above my shoulder they're bouncing around? So we must devise a way where we have an area where the magma cubes spawn and a method to kill them and break them down into their smaller little magma cube selves, into the smallest little guys that are hopping around that can fit inside of the frog's mouth. So behind me over there is a platform where you can see that they're already spawning. Now, the best way to go about this would have been in a bastion, because there is an actual magma cube spawner. However, since the portal is right there, there is not a bastion anywhere near us, and so transporting the frogs there, thousands of blocks away, would be so difficult and nearly impossible. So another alternative here is going to the basalt deltas. In the basalt deltas, magma cubes spawn at the ready over and over. As you can tell over here, I've created a little spawning platform for them to spawn at the ready, and it's working quite well already. There's already a ton of them. In order to help, now in order for this to work even better and more efficiently, I have to guarantee or make sure that there won't be any spawning anywhere else aside from this one platform. How do we do that? By placing a lot of slabs. So many slabs. And you probably have noticed them already, dotted around here or there. Some stone slabs here, stone slabs under this platform, and just kind of everywhere. Now, I have a lot more work to do. This about took me an hour, and I have probably a couple more hours to go, because there is just so much more area around here that I have to slab up to prevent these guys from spawning, so that way they can only spawn on this area, because as you know, mobs can't spawn on half slabs that are on the lower portion. And this place is super dangerous. I almost landed in the lava, and funny enough, when slabbing this area up, I did land in the lava several times, but luckily I have my trusty elytra to get me out of trouble. But it has been some pretty hairy situations. But look at that. Even just from some moderate slabbing, I'm able to get some crazy spawns. So that is a great sign. You know, I was worried about the spawning rate, since we wouldn't be able to have this farm inside of a bastion. But now I can tell that the spawning won't be a problem. Those gas probably will, though. So I'm going to take these slabs here and place them on a bunch of little areas back there. I probably won't film that because that will most likely be pretty boring. But I'll check back with you after and show you the progress. All of my progress. Oh my goodness, it's done. The mob proofing is done. Oh, hello. That's right, I finally was able to mob proof this entire area all underneath this spawning platform. And it was so much. So much of these varying height levels, all of this lava, all of this dangerous terrain. And it is finally paying off because, as you can see, this platform is spawning a ton of magma cubes. Now, if you look about, you can tell that not everything is slabbed up, but that's because I only needed to do the immediate area. And also, when this farm is up and running, I'm going to be way up there, just so that the spawning radius from the player is just centered on this platform. So that was just one of the first laborious steps in this process. Actually, probably the most laborious steps. Now I have to get started on constructing the actual layers, the platform, the mechanisms, everything that makes this thing work. I have to get started on. So what that means is there aren't many tutorials on how to do it in this fashion. So I'm just winging it, and I hope it all works out. But let's get started on constructing this farm. Okay, so the platform has been built, finally. Let me turn around and show you really quick. I'm standing on top of it. This is the area that will put all of the frogs and that all of the magma cubes will start spawning in, and the frogs will eat them up and poop out the little froglights. And I happen to leave some of the string in here, which isn't good. I really like these particle effects that the soul sand is giving off. That is super cool. Anyway, I'm going to break all of those, and the reason why there are these little slabs here is to prevent goss from spawning inside of here. We only want the magma cubes. And once I put the magma cubes in here, I'm going to fill this layer right here, all with the powdered snow to hurt and dwindle down the size of the magma cubes. But now, the final step, as you can see that I'm flying over this bridge, is to get all of these frogs, or at least most of these frogs, from this portal across this precarious bridge, dodging the gassed fire left and right to get them inside of that farm. I've opened the doors, and I'm letting them slowly pour out. Looks like they're unsure. That one's going back. Eventually, we'll have these guys kind of pour on in. There they go. They're going to wander about, open up these doors. Oh, there's a frog. And there they go. Perfect. So I'm going to take these guys on with me through that portal. Let me just get my leads. Can't take too much right now, so let me take that one, that one, that one, that one. You. And you. When the squad hops? What is this? When the squad hops into town. I didn't even know that that was a, that was an advancement. That's neat. Alright, bring these guys. Oh, I hope they don't fall down there. Okay. Yoink, 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 and yoink. Come with me. Alright, better close these doors. Close that door so that they don't somehow happen to hop onto the top of the building. Come on, you guys. Come on. Come on now. Go in there. Go in there. Good. Good. Close you off. Good. Alright, you guys will just hang out here. I'll come back for you. I have quite a bit of frogs. Let's go. Please. Please, Will, I hope this will make it. I hope I don't lose my leads as well. I'm not going to be able to get these guys across. Ooh, maybe I should have just one lead in my hand. Okay. He hopped through. Let's go, frogs. There we go. There we go. Come on. One more. Okay, good. Okay, let's go. Let's go get him. Okay. Come here. Come here. Come here. This way. All the frogs. All the frogs. Okay. Oh, no. Should have got a fence post. I was not prepared enough. Okay, perfect. Boom. And then you. Boom. Okay. I'm missing a few frogs. Maybe they... Okay. Okay. There we go. Boom. And then... Come here. Boom. Don't go back through the portal. Come around. I'm so glad that netherite breaks so fast. Okay. Let's lead you over here. And then, boom. Alright. I'm just missing one frog. There's a possibility. No, I'm not missing a frog. I got every frog because I wanted an extra lead. Alright, moment of truth. Oh boy. Oh, I didn't know that's how it happens. Okay. Leash up everybody here. You and you. Perfect. Do I have everyone? No, I need you. Perfect. Alright, everybody, let's go. Let's go on a field trip. Field trip. Froggy, froggy, field trip. Alright, everyone stay close. Stay with your exit buddy. This is so fun. Okay, just don't jump away. Just don't jump away, please. Stay with me, please. Don't jump away. We're almost there. Here they come. Here we are. The first round of frogs are almost here. Yes. Yes, fall in there. Perfect. Yay. Now let me kill these guys. And perfect. Let them go to town and eat. Eat the cubes. Eat the cubes. Oh, fantastic. We did it! The first round of frogs are in. And look, they're producing it. Oh, this is amazing. Awesome. Now we need to go get the rest of the frogs and then fill it with powdered snow. And now one of the more tedious things to do is to fill this place with powdered snow. Luckily, I can just middle click to get the powdered snow bucket that is in my inventory and then place it down, which saves so much time and makes it so much more easier to do. However, one of the things is that these can't be stacked. They're all individual, so it takes so many shulker boxes. That one still had some more that I need to fill in this room, and this one is already full. I have about 20 more to do in this entire place. But luckily I installed a little door in there for me to exit, go get the stuff, and put it back. So I'm gonna fill this place up, it'll be ready to go. There it is working! It's working, yay! The frogs are rushing in to eat the little magma cubes, and they poop out the little froglight there. I'm using my little floaty camera to see on the inside here. That way I don't disrupt the pathfinding of these magma cubes. And this is a great example of how it works. Oops. One of these guys, they're a little bit too short to suffocate or freeze in the powdered snow. So when they step on here, then they freeze to death. Unfortunately, the little guys still freeze, but eventually the frogs will swoop on over, eat them up, and poop out the froglight. Another one just spawned in back here. Another little flaw of this design is that they have to pathfind onto this little platform, and then they'll be able to get broken down into their little components. Unfortunately, they don't always pathfind onto there. That one got lucky. Sometimes they just wander around and then they despawn, which I guess isn't too bad, because then it opens up more opportunity for these guys to spawn in again. But it seems to be pretty efficient. The only other thing is that they kind of get stuck on top of these blocks, which isn't too bad. If we exit this, this is the farm that I was outside of. This is the collection area. And I've been running this for a few hours, and it is pretty good, honestly. It's not the most efficient farm, but it still pumps out quite a bit of froglights. And I don't think I'll need much more than this, if I'm being honest, unless I start actually doing a farm. I have the smallest amount of the pearlescent froglights because I have the smallest amount of white frogs in there. I might change or adjust that in the future. Probably if I have a build that requires a lot of this, but for the meantime, I'm going to leave it as is because it's pumping out a good amount. Okay, and now with that, we can finally replace the lighting in this area. Oh, that's perfect. That's exactly the color tone that I wanted. And then on this side, let's see if I can reach. Oh, beautiful. It works so well. Now I have to replace these guys. Now to replace these ones. I'm halfway through replacing these lights in here, and I just wanted to stop to show a little demonstration, or a side-by-side really, and just take a little look. Here is the sea lanterns, the blue and teal colors there, and the rest of the froglights with the orange tint. And I gotta say, it's pretty clear how well those work with this color palette. I mean, these are very nice, don't get me wrong, but they just kind of stand out, and there's no other color that goes with them. I mean, it's a nice accent color, but this, boom, this is more of the vibe that I wanted for this area. Very cool. I'm so glad I finally have these froglights. And now the last one going up. Boom. They're all in place. So happy with it. Okay, so we are back at the mega base so that I can show you where this new building is going to go. Right over here, right behind me. It's going to be this centermost building right where these chests are. And it's so funny, these chests happen to be everywhere I need to build, so I'm constantly in a state of moving these things back and forth, back and forth. So what is this building going to be? Right here at this spot is going to be the apothecary. The potion shop, if you will, and I'm so excited! There is a new kind of aesthetic that I want to go for. I haven't really tried before. I feel like it will stand out amongst the different kind of building styles while still keeping within theme. So I'm so very excited to get working on it. Now, the blocks that I need to get this started are a lot of nether blocks, black stone, and a lot of the crimson wood blocks, which I don't have much of. So it looks like we're going back to the nether once again. I also will probably need a good amount of oxidized copper, so I do hope that I have enough of that. Now, from the last excursion inside of the nether to get the froglight area ready, I have quite a bit of black stone themselves. I know this isn't a black shulker box. For consistency, it's a little hard to tell, but there it is. Quite a bit of black stone, and also the second one right in here. So I feel like we have that base covered. Now let's hope that I have enough of this. Okay, cool. Luckily, I have enough of this stem, so I don't need to go back to the nether, thank goodness. For this upcoming build, I require a ton of oxidized copper. What I have in my hand is not going to be nearly enough for the build that I need to make. So I went on a mining spree to get a ton of these copper blocks, and I used my fortune pick, not this one, that's a silk touch, my fortune 3 pick to get a ton of copper ingots, smelted those up, took such a long time, I did not want to record that because that would be kind of boring, and I got a ton here in my inventory. I did some of my oxidization. That is such a hard word to say. Oxidization. There we go. Now I got it. Station over there in the mountain to get these copper blocks here. Also, I created another little area right there, which I don't know if is working all too well. If I fly on over to it, it's some good oxidization so far. Some good weathering. I feel like I've seen somewhere that if you have a base layer of the fully oxidized stuff, then the stuff on top will oxidize faster. But I'm not too sure. So I'm going to let this one cook, and I'm going to go inside of the mountain where I have the more traditional fields of oxidizing copper. Just on through this crevice, down in this hole, and here we are. This is my field of copper oxidization. So, if you place them 5 blocks apart, they should oxidize the fastest because they're influenced by other blocks surrounding them. Or so I believe. So I am told. So this is what I do here. Let me just eat some food. Put this on my offhand, break that, and replace it with that. It's kind of a lengthy process, but it's definitely worth doing. Now, you may remember back from a previous episode that I was doing this, the oxidization of copper that is, with thick potions that I brewed up. I just light them up, splash it on, and then it oxidizes to the next state, and I do that over and over. The reason why I'm not doing this with this is because that will require so many potions, like a lot of potions to brew up, which takes a long time and requires a lot of resources. And also, that's a data pack, and for whatever reason, that data pack does not seem to be working. So I have to rely on the manual method, which isn't too bad. I get to explore the large crevasse of this mountain. So I'm gonna harvest this up, and then I will see you back at the mega base. Okay, now we're back over here. As you can see, the chest monster has been moved to over there, hopefully out of the way for the foreseeable future. I don't plan on building any kind of build over there for quite some time. And I have my shulker boxes full of my supplies and additional supplies over in the chest monster. We got blackstone and this one, and then the warp stem, or the crimson stem, and the dark oak log, which the main thing is going to be made out of, and a ton of other stuff. And with that, why don't we switch over to a building time lapse? Let's go! It is here! It is finally here! The building is done, and I'm so much of a fan of all these little details that I was able to instill, especially these little pops of color with the amethyst peeking through, and the little amethyst crystals here to complement that. I am such a fan of the little animations it gives off, especially of this soul sand here, these little souls that wisp up into the air. Just adds so much more movement and life, and I just love the soul sand being here. I'm going to add some of the warped wart on top to show that I'm growing it and that this is a potion shop to really tie in those themes all together. This is my first time with this kind of dark alchemical building, and I feel like it adds so much character to this area. I had a lot of fun getting this all together. I really like how the warped wart adds a very nice pop of saturated color that is juxtaposed to the darkness of the rest of the building here, along with the nice copper accents right at the top and the little window shades. And I feel like it adds a nice way to tie into the rest of the building scheme here with the rest of the teal tones and the copper tones. So now let's take a little look on the inside really quick. As you can tell, there's not much going on here, just an empty shell. It's going to be quite an interesting design challenge to fill this area since it's quite tall and narrow, but that's something that we're going to get done very soon. So why don't we have a little fun with some editing magic, walking on into the building, and here is the interior in its dark academia, dark alchemical glory. I'm so happy with how this interior turned out. Now, I was having a little bit of trouble trying to cram all of the details within a timely manner, so I just stuck with the main shell and vibe of this place. And very, very soon, probably at the start of the next episode, I'm going to fill this place top to bottom, up and down, with a ton of detail. But you can already get a sense of the vibe that I want with all of the materials and the color scheme. I really wanted to go with a kind of a bar kind of theme, as you could tell here, but still have kind of like the academia alchemical kind of feeling here with the pops of color that are this here, the crimson wood, along with this color here, and the accent colors of the warped wood right here. And I just love that touch. I love how it all turned out, contrasting with this dark wood. Over here we have the little cauldron above the fireplace, which I just love, the nice little touch here. Not only does it add light, but it adds some movement and character. I'm going to fill up these shelves with a ton of fun little details and decorations I'm so excited to do in the future. We have our wall of barrels, added functionality and storage, and also to break up the look of the wall with some additional details. Let's go upstairs. There's nothing up here just yet, but I will add a ton of stuff up here. I'm thinking up here will be where we grow the nether wart used for brewing. This wall is currently barren and empty, but it is going to house a ton of very interesting machinery, boilers, gears of the such and the sort going into this machine. I just need more time to flesh out the details because I want it to look really, really cool. Up here is the inside of that spire with a little brewing stand, and this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to create a lot of small little details to add to this area. What an interesting sound that makes. I'm getting distracted. Also a great view of the plaza from here. Very nice. Now, what do we have here? Isn't this quite interesting? These, if you can recall, are the new blocks from the 1.21 update. Now I have more of them down here as well. You probably noticed them when I was doing a little showcase. And you probably noticed this back here. is the new tough block. Why don't we take a little look on the outside and we can see a little bit more detail. I put them here in place of those froglights, or the, what were they? The different light from the ocean monument. I don't remember the name. Why I'm blanking on the name. Doesn't matter. But I put these here, and I feel like they give such a nice touch. I really like the texture of these new oxidized copper trapdoors here. And then also the texture of this new copper bulb. And I feel like it really complements this building very well. We have the touch of green from the top, move down to the mid and the bottom. And also this green and that green is echoed out throughout this entire area. So it really ties in this place into the surrounding areas, the surrounding city center. And I added additional details on the outside here, just to break up the uniformity and to give it a little bit more depth and character. And I'm so happy with how it turned out. Let's go back inside. This will be our super brewer. Looks like quite a complicated machine, but I assure you that it's quite easy to follow. I just need to get a little bit more of these item frames, and they are going to display the ingredient on the front. Of course, those are the ingredients, but that's what they'll be like, just right there on the front. I might have a lectern or like a little brewing guide or something. Here's a little brewing guide on my texture pack of how to brew a lot of the major kinds of potions. So, of course, the Nether wart will be here, and everything else will be here. You just press the buttons in order, and they get fed into the machine and brewed. And when they're done, they get pulled out and stored over here. But yes, we have access to the new 1.21 blocks early. Isn't that so cool? How is this possible? What has transpired? Well, what I have done is I have downloaded a texture pack. Not a texture pack, excuse me, a data pack, which allows me the access of these new blocks early before the release. Now, why did I do this? I did this because of all of my mods do not allow me to update. I need to wait months before all of those mods are able to update and before I can play with a lot of these features. And that is just too long to wait. I mean, just look at how cool and unique these new blocks are. We have the bulb, we have the trapdoor, so many different copper blocks, and so many different tough blocks. And I cannot wait that long. I just need to work with them now because they add so much interesting depth and detail to this area. And do keep in mind that this just gives me access to the new blocks, but not to the new features of the 1.21 update. So I won't be able to experience the new trail chambers or the new breeze or the new wind charge that the breeze drops. So I'm just sticking to the blocks, and I will be able to experience all of that when I actually do update this world to 1.21. So in the meantime, I get to test out all of these new blocks while we wait for all of the new features to come out. And I feel like all of these new tough blocks can add so much character to this area. I might incorporate them into the base of this building here. And there might be a few dedicated buildings that will get majority of these blocks. And I'm so glad that they finally are here, and I love this color palette. It is right in between the deep slate and the regular stone. It will make transitions and block palettes work so much better. And if I look over here, wow, as I bop and bounce and bop and bounce, I did incorporate the new trapdoors over here as well to there, the little corners. And that's the reason why I made this acacia, because I wanted it to be in line with the proper copper texture. And I feel like that just goes so well. That just gives it a better industrial look. I'm so happy with these new blocks. And with that, that looks like this is all the time that I have for this episode. I'm so happy with how this build behind me turned out with its unique design and aesthetic. I had such a good time challenging myself on this design aesthetic and trying to figure out what works to fit this vibe of the dark alchemical building, and I feel like I did pretty well. I cannot wait to fill this area with a bunch of different buildings, really fill it up and give it a bunch of different design and aesthetic and life. And I cannot wait to play around with the new 1.21 blocks that we finally have on this server. I want to thank you so much for joining me here and watching, and I cannot wait to see you in the next episode. Goodbye! Of course, they can't eat the big magma. The chest monster to over there, so now it's out of the way for a and did my little oxidative